Welcome into the first edition of Griffon Sports Spotlight on News Press Now. I'm your host, Brandon Zenner. Each week here at Griffon Sports Spotlight, we will take you behind the scenes and outside of the playing lines out at Missouri Western. We plan to bring you the in-depth stories on the athletes who call St. Joseph home for college and dive into all things Griffon athletics. And each and every week, we will do so with head football coach out of Missouri Western, Matt Williamson. Coach, thank you so much for dedicating your time all season long here to inform the community on everything going on, and we'll have some fun along the way.
Absolutely, it's game week, so I'm ready to go. You better get ready to go too.
There is no chance you're gonna be able to slow me down the rest of the week. I've been full metal to go.
I might be a little ahead of you right now, but hey, we're gonna be ready to go on Thursday.
Definitely. Now, before we get into Thursday, let's talk about 2017. You get the chance to be a head coach at your alma mater. You guys start 1-2, a pair of disheartening losses on the road, especially opening up at UNK. Then a 3-game winning streak followed by a 5-game losing streak. You guys end 4-7, 8th in the conference. Talk to me about your takeaways of year one and how you guys attacked the offseason.
You know, obviously, looking as the season got over, we wanted to try to look and focus on what we did good, what we did not do as well, where we were at as a team, all those different things like that. I think depth was the #1 issue that we had to take a precedent on, and we went right after that and signed a really big class, got some transfers in as well too, and just put ourselves in a situation where we're not like, oh boy, if someone gets hurt, we're looking, or who's the next guy going in, oh boy, we're worried about that. We want to make sure that this is a solid football team and program, and week to week you're going to have ups and downs with injuries and stuff, and I don't want to hold my breath when someone gets hurt. We got to have talent through all the way through the team. So I'm excited to get everybody out there. I think I learned a lot about our team and who we had on our team and what we're really good at. So we're going to definitely work on that, but also the weaknesses that we had a little bit, we really focused on those to increase that and add in both facets.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about this football team. You bring back 15 starters, 3 running backs who could start on a lot of teams in this conference. One of those guys, Derek Gray Jr., right here from St. Joe, not only hoping to help return the glory to Griffon football, but also hoping to represent his hometown team strong one last time.
For Derek Gray Jr., his senior season is more than just his final chance to play on the college gridiron. It's also his last opportunity to represent his hometown team.
It's a very surreal feeling. I know coming in as freshman, you never thought this time would come, but it came here a lot faster than I expected it to, but it's time to soak it all in and go to work.
After an all-news press and all-conference career at Central, Gray became the latest Indian running back to take his talents to the next level. He learned the ropes behind Raphael Spencer as a redshirt and freshman, and has punched defenses along with Josh Caldwell the past 2 seasons. Now he leads the backfield as a Griffon senior.
From my redshirt freshman year to my redshirt senior year, I've busted my butt every year. Nothing's changed. Not taking a play off or a day off, and just keeping the same mindset, being hungry and ready to go out there and win.
Just looking in his eye, he's ready to be pushed. He wants to be pushed. He wants to be challenged every single day, and it's fun when you have guys like that. And he's also a vocal leader. We've got some young kids in there behind him a little bit, and he coaches those guys up and leads them.
And I don't really feel any pressure. I know I got the guys behind me to back me up. I got the teammates out there that'll do their job, and the coaches believe in me.
Along with making his mark on the Western offense, he hopes to be part of the class that leads the turnaround of Griffon football after 2 straight 4-win seasons.
That's what Coach Willie and this coaching staff is trying to do, is bring us back up to where we used to be at. So to be that class, to bring them back in the right direction and lead them in the right way would be a great feeling.
Coach, I know Derek Gray is kind of what you look for in a kid to represent your team. I know he told me he bought gold mouthpieces for all of your offensive linemen, and he kind of has a good aura about him. He just brings something to his football team. Talk to me about Derek and just what he brings to this group.
He does. He's just a high-quality human being. You take 100 of those guys on your team at any time. He walks in the door. He's ready to go for practice. He's ready to go for meetings. He's ready to go for everything. And then people just follow along. It's kind of those leaders that are on your team that you want to have. Just have that kind of glow about them, and people attract to them. And when you have guys like that on a team, things start heading in the right direction. And he's an integral part of our offense and our team, and we're really lucky to have him. And obviously a local kid, just being able to get to show his skills another year in the town of St. Joseph and bring hopefully a whole bunch of Central Indians to the games as well too, to come check out some Griff football.
Mm-hmm. Now you also bring back a guy. Shamar Griff was all MIAA last year. A small guy, a scat back, but he's slated to be the starter on the depth chart this week 1. Tell me about Shamar and what he brings to this offense and just how he's different from Derek.
Well, he's got a great camp. I mean, it was fun to watch. All three of them have, and we've got some younger kids that are coming up and pushing them as well too. We feel really good about the future there at the running back position. But Shamar's a little bit more of a slasher. You know, he kind of he's electric. You know, and he's hard to bring down. He's hard to find a little bit. He's a little bit shorter, a little bit smaller, but boy, he runs like he's 200 pounds, and it's impressive just to watch him. And he's just kind of dynamic cut, has real good vision. Derek is kind of a downhill back. He's good. He puts his foot in the ground and gets positive yards and make things happen. He reads as well too. And then you step into another running back with James Bailey as well too, and he's got a little bit of both of those and is a little bit bigger than both of them. So he's more of a power back, and he's had success too. So it's fun, but it's going to be great to watch out there, and just watch. And you have one kid go out there and your defense is preparing, trying to tackle a big, thick, running back, and then all of a sudden you put a slasher in, and then you put a Mr. Super Dependable Derek Gray in that always gets yard. I mean, we got a lot of things to pick from, so I'm excited to let them do their thing this Thursday.
And then earlier this offseason, I talked to Shamar just about this group and how everyone lauds the depth in it, and he says that they're close on and off the field, and described to me exactly what all these guys bring to this team.
DG being like the senior, he's kind of like the OG of the group, so we all kind of take lessons from him because he's been here the longest. So I kind of see what he does and try to implement into my running game, and I hope the other running backs do the same thing. But other than that, I feel like we're going to have a strong running back game this year. We all have a different running style, so it's like it's a lot of different elements that we bring to the game. Like JB, he's like the big bus in the group, and I'm the scat back, and then you have DG, he's kind of in between. So you're going to get a lot of different views from each of us, so just stay tuned.
Stay tuned, we will. You got to love the attitude that guy has.
They're all great. I love being around every single one of them every day.
How about the rest of this offense? You've got your starting quarterback, Don Marino, come back. He's going to be the starter to start the season. You're bringing some transfers at receivers. You got a solid offensive line coming back. We got another Central Indian starting in Jacob Olson. Just how about the rest of this offense? How are they going to unfold this year?
Well, we've got a lot of parts coming back, so we just want to keep the train moving. It was moving last year. Obviously we kind of got derailed a little bit, a couple injuries and everything, but we had a very explosive and powerful offense, and we've got to expand on that, which we did. We've expanded and added some more receivers as well, added some more depth at that position, and then the offensive line being back again with continuity and doing it again next year. Like this year, going to the next year, just the growth as a whole, as a unit. And when you play with people consistently and there's a group, a core there, they just become closer, so it's easier for people to jump in and just fit right in there, and nothing stops, and that's what we're looking forward for this offense to continue to move and improve on top of what we did last year.
Now, how about these receivers? You bring in guys like Damon Wheeler Jr., Joe Horn Jr., people probably recognize that name. These guys they're going to provide some electricity, as we talked about with Shamar. They're going to bring some electricity to this offense.
They do. They can run, they can catch, and they can do some stuff with the ball in their hands once they get it. So we're going to try to move the ball around. Obviously, we want to run the football, but now being explosive on the edge as well too. It's going to make it a little bit more challenging for, I think, the defensive coordinators to pick what they want to kind of control. You can kind of I want to stop the run and then be a little susceptible to pass. I can kind of stop the pass because they're pretty good at that, and you're a little susceptible to run. We're going to have a little nucleus of packages that kind of put all those together into one thing, and I think it'll be a little bit tougher to defend us this year.
Now, we also bring back kicker Tyler Bash. Offensive line, they got two guys coming back. Offense is going to be fun to watch this year. Now, coming up after the break, we'll head over to the defensive side of the ball, plus talk about that Week 1 matchup, just a little bit of a big game against Northwest Missouri State. You're watching Griffon Sports Spotlight on News Press Now.
I did it to look and feel great because I had high cholesterol.
I did it because I could eat real food and still lose weight.
Whatever your reason, let the new Slim for Life Breakthrough program help you get past setbacks and barriers so you keep losing the weight. Visit slimforlife.com and get Slim for Life. Get 30 days for just $30 and lose up to 30 pounds. You could lose up to 10 pounds in your first week.
The Big 12 is not for the weak. You face Red River shootouts and destructive cyclones, with Cowboys and Longhorns ready to take you down. Every week you fight or surrender. Win or lose, you do. Or you don't. There is no other choice.
Welcome back into Griffon Sports Spotlight. I'm your host, Brandon Zenner, alongside head football coach Matt Williamson out of Missouri Western. Now, let's head over to the defensive side of the ball. The strength of this defense is going to be in the secondary. You got guys like Brandon Dandridge, Sam Webb coming back at a guy like Vontae Copeland. Couple that with where you've got to replace guys like Darian Bass, Cody Winsey. How is this defense going to shake up here in 2018?
Well, I'm real excited to watch them get out there and roll. We've got some talent on the edge, like you talked about with our corner position. Very, very, very talented. I think they could have played it anywhere that I've probably coached before. The safety position, Jabbar Miles and Willie Washington played a little bit last year. Jabbar played quite a bit more. He spared time with Jonathan Owens, and so he's got a lot of experience, and he's really took up the leadership part of this defense, and he's the voice out on the fields. And then Willie Washington got hurt about week 3, and then just kind of went, but he's had an awesome camp. I'm excited to get him out there and start playing and banging some heads out there. But defensive line-wise, we're going to have some a little bit of youth, a little bit of inexperience there at some positions. But we brought in some transfers that are working their way up, and we're going to be able to rotate. We'll probably play around 8 defensive linemen, throughout the game, just kind of rotate those guys in and out. And then the linebacker position, getting James Husky back and Anthony Williams, and I feel really solid there. So I'm just excited to watch them to get going and let them play, and you get to only tackle a few times during camp. You want to tackle too much, but coming here pretty quick, they're going to be able to let everything loose, and that's as a defensive player, that's when it gets fun.
Now, you mentioned James Husky specifically. He has missed 2 seasons here at Western after having an all-MIAA season in 2016. He tears his ACL last year. Talk to me about him coming back. Just kind of how you've seen him progress and coming back and what he provides to this team.
Well, he rehabbed his tail off. He really worked hard at it. It's important to him. This team's important to him. He bleeds black and gold from within, and he's walking around with a big chest as a leader as well too. And the guys look up to him. We do have some youth that redshirt sophomores and redshirt freshmen that are going to be playing, and just having him in the room, having him around, being there and experience and knowing what kind of environment we're going into Thursday, and then what kind of environment the MIAA is. It's helped. He's lifted him up, and that's what it's all about, is lifting your brother up and continuing on and strengthening the team within.
Now let's talk Game 1, Week 1. Traditionally, Western and Northwest, they're the final game of the season for the most part, but this year the schedule is flipped around. Just all the factors going into this matchup. You got Thursday night on the road, number 5 team in the country you're facing, rival. How about this season, Owen?
It doesn't get any better than that, to be honest with you. Everything that you want as a football player, as a college football player, and obviously as a coach too, the environment that we're going to walk into, and just with our players' attitudes and our kids and the situation we're going into, it's you hunger for that just as a coach and a player. And I'm really looking forward to finishing the week, preparing and getting ready and giving these kids a chance. They've been locked in. It's a little bit different, this year. You depending on who you open with. When you open with a top 5 team in the country, a rival and stuff, from day 1 in camp, these kids have been locked in, and they have been just on point with everything, because they know that you have to be ready to go. We can't get better as the game goes along. We have to be good right now, and their preparation has shown that, and we as coaches have pushed that on them, that to play a talented team, any talented team, you can't make mistakes, and you have to know your checks and your assignments, and because one little thing can change the whole tide of the game. And so we're going at it in the classroom, we're going at it in the meeting rooms, we're going at it on the field, practice field, walkthroughs, all those stuff, to make sure that we're not going to give anything away.
Now, when you prepare for Game 1 of the year, how is it different than other games? You don't have a whole lot of film on this group of players. You just talked about preparing for a season opener and how that's different.
I think if you prepare for players too much, you kind of get into, because that kid could get injured or something. You never know what's going to happen. You have to prepare for the nucleus of what their team does and who they are. Defensively, I think Coach Wright does a really good job, and they've had a lot of success defensively as well too. So he's not going to change a whole bunch. He'll have a few wrinkles here and there that he might have picked up in the offseason, but they're going to kind of continue to do what they're due. Offensively, I could see them change a little bit. You just never know. A new quarterback coming in and different things in that aspect. You're not really too sure. So you've got to be. I think our defensive game plan has to be a little bit more spread out. Because, as you hear, one quarterback is a little bit more athletic than the other, so that kind of changes the game plan. As it would, as you would look at us as well, too, where Don Marino's a really good quarterback, and then Wyatt is a good quarterback as well, too, but he throws the ball really well, where Dom can do a little bit of both. He can run the ball, which changes your mind as a defensive coordinator on how you want to attack as well. So it's a good thing, but you can't ask for anything more. I'm really pumped. It's going to be great.
With them having a quarterback who, this will be his first collegiate snap, are you tempted to dial things up, maybe put more pressure on him, or how do you approach playing against a guy who is taking his first collegiate snap under center?
Well, obviously we want to stay within what we want to do as a defense, and we don't want to what we believe in and how we run stuff, but we want to make him uncomfortable as possible. Not playing, not having experience, and then walking in to an environment like that, as a redshirt freshman, that's tough for anybody, and if we can make him feel or question his checks, his calls, where we're aligning, how we're doing stuff, it can affect his play, and then everybody starts questioning from that point on, and then the tides can change for us a little bit. So we will have a little bit broader, game plan defensively. Offensively, we kind of know, we feel what they're going to do with a few, new tweaks, different things here and there. But that's what we've been working on, since spring started and heading into the summer as well too. We've been preparing for this game and look forward to stepping foot on that field.
Now, I also heard that Northwest has a new running back you guys might know a little bit about. Josh Caldwell transferred there. He's a graduate transfer. With you guys having coached him, does that help at all, knowing his running style, or I guess does that play into this matchup at all?
I don't think it helps in any way like that at all, but I do believe, obviously knowing what he's good at and what he does gives us an advantage of the inside part of it. So game plan wise, they're going to continue to do the run game, the exact same run plays. They'll have a few new ones here and there. With him being talented and being able to run the ball fairly effective, he'll be able to, I think they'll probably try to run the ball a little bit more than they probably normally would, especially when you bring in a new quarterback as well too. Get that quarterback feeling good. He can just hand the ball off and then throw it every once in a while. So I think we'll get a little mixture of both, but it'll be good to get out there and compete against.
Now, what kind of mindset does your team have to have? Obviously, they're going to first game of the year, all the rivalry stuff. They're going to be amped, but how do you get them to hone in all those feelings, all those emotions? And remember, they're playing a game, and they're still trying to come out on top.
We want to come out and play aggressive, and we want to come out and be on fire, and we want to knock people around and have fun. But the thing is that you have to have a controlled emotion, just like anything. That's what's great thing about college football and college football players is that when things get tough and you're put in a tough situation, how you react to those as well. If you ride all on just energy and you just ride on all the highs, then you're going to at some point going to hit a low. We want to continue to train and just continue an even pace and continue to push and push and push until we break through, and that's the direction that we're heading. But I know it's going to be hard. If I got to walk into our locker room and get them ready to go for this game, that's crazy. There's no way. I know that right now. I've been in that locker room before, and I know how it works. But the thing that I will tell you is that I do have to keep them, in control, in a controlled anger, a controlled environment, so they don't lose sight of their jobs, because when you start acting outside of your responsibility, your fit, your route, your drop, your reads, because you're playing with emotion, it affects the whole chemistry of the team, offensively, defensively, and special teams. So we've got to walk in there and just know that, hey, we're competing against ourselves. Obviously we're competing against a rival, but we're competing against ourselves. We can't beat ourselves. And if we walk in and with a mindset like that, I think we'll be good to go.
Now, if you had to give me one key to this game for Western to be there at the end, what would that be?
One key is I'll just tell you, we're going to play our tail off until the end of the snap, and until the end of the quarter, until the end of the half, until the end of the fourth quarter. You will see Griffon football, the passion, the energy, and the fight, and the grit to where we're never going to give up, and that's what you're going to see. And our kids right now, and you can watch them walk off the field, walk on the field, walk in the meeting rooms, they're starting to actually believe and really, truly believe that, hey, we're going to win, and we've got a chance to win every football game. And that's what's really, really, really good to watch.
I know. I can't wait. Thanks for joining us, Coach. Again, 7 p.m. kickoff in Maryville at Bearcat Stadium, number 5 Northwest, against the Missouri Western Griffons. Now, coming up after the break, I sit down with Athletic Director Josh Looney. We recap his first year at the helm, talk to year 2 in St. Joe. We'll be right back.
Spencer James, Billy Baker, varsity coach, Beverly High.
Beverly Hills, huh?
Yes, sir. I've had my eye on you. You got strong hands. You match up well against single coverage. I need you to come play for me.
Welcome to Beverly Hills.
You're here on an academic permit.
Hey, aren't you some, like, crazy good football players?
All right, fellas, show me something.
Ooh, that place just isn't who I am. It ain't me.
You decide who you want to be.
We need to get rid of it. Go back to Crenshaw. I'll play with a bunch of guys who don't want me.
You can make something of your life beyond just football.
Football is my dream. I want a life better than the one I've been living. Because I got to fight for every damn step I take.
I'm asking you.
You'd be unstoppable.
Intensity and the energy and the spirit of this Griffon football team, and it's going to continue to grow and become more and more powerful.
Now, when Josh Looney interviewed to be Missouri Western's athletic director last summer, it seemed like a perfect fit. He was a football player in the MIAA, played his ball over at Washburn in Topeka. He's from the Kansas City area. He worked with the Chiefs when they first came to training camp here in St. Joseph. He was a Chiefs insider, did sideline and TV work for them as well. Now, it's his first year. It wrapped up. It was something pretty magical. Now, I know this is a whole team effort, but take me back to the applying and the interview process of this. I remember leaving your interview, walking back to the office and saying it just seems like too good of a match for it not to make sense with your background at the Chiefs, going up in the area, playing in the MIAA. I guess just how much of a perfect fit did you see this for you?
It's been an awesome fit in many ways. We love St. Joseph. My family's still in the Kansas City area. My wife and I both grew up there, and her grandparents lived 30-plus years in Stonecrest, where ironically we ended up purchasing our home. But you know, quickly the welcome mat, I guess, wore off when the first thing across your desk is, okay, you used to work for the Chiefs, now it's time to renegotiate that deal. The negotiations went well. They're very positive. We had a record camp, and it all came full circle to see training camp and some of the record numbers we had and people attending it, as well as some of the revenue we were able to create for our athletic department. So it was wonderful. It was great. There's no better place I can think of in Division II than Missouri Western, and especially on a personal level, you tie all that in. It's been an awesome first year for our family.
Now, in just about 2 weeks, Griffon Stadium, or Spratt Stadium, will be full for the home opener against Fort Hays. How do you look forward to this football season? Kind of what do you want to see from this program in year 2?
That's my fault. I was referring to Griffon Stadium earlier. That's what my daughter calls it. So she came in for the football jamboree, and I'm at Griffon Stadium. Look at all these people. But Spratt Stadium's going to be packed for that first game under the lights, and we're excited. Coach Willie in his second year, you will see a different product. In our league, there are no quick fixes in the MIAA. You look at programs who have built from taking over a team with coming off a losing record, which Coach Willie did, and how do they go and build themselves towards MIAA champions. There's only been a few in this league that have done that, and it's stair-step and seeing that progression. And the way you do it is big, talented freshman classes, and you grow it over time and grow it from within. And what you've seen Coach Willie do is turn over a roster in the 60s, 70s, even higher of what he has that are his guys from the last 2 years paired with some of the upperclassmen returners. So I think you'll see an energy and a culture where last year was a lot of learning for the players, a lot of learning for the coaches. That's established now, and it's getting out there and getting after it. So I think it's an exciting brand of football. You know, we want to be in every game, and we'll see what the record looks like at the end of the year. But I think that when you look at just the energy and the talent that's on our roster, we feel like we can play with everybody, and we're excited to see how the season works out.
Now, we talked about an exciting brand of football. In case you've missed it during this first week of Griffon Athletics, it's also been an exciting brand of volleyball. Last year, they started 7-8 before going 16-2 in the MIAA, winning an MIAA title, getting all the way to the MIAA tournament championship, and then that first NCAA regional victory for the team. Well, this week, they started 4-0. They played 12 games. They swept all 12 games. Volleyball off to a 4-0 start. They get underway again this weekend. They'll play 4 more games out in Colorado, one of the nation's premier Division II tournaments. And then also later this weekend, the Griffon soccer team coming off that NCAA tournament appearance, they will get underway as well in Searcy, Arkansas. They will play Ouachita Baptist before taking on Harding, 2 teams that they beat 11-0 combined. And then, of course, Griffon football up in Maryville on Thursday. Now that will do it for us on Griffon Sports Spotlight. Make sure to join us again next week as we recap Game 1 against the Bearcats. We'll look ahead to that home opener against the Fort Hays State Tigers. Thanks again to Matt Williamson and Josh Looney for joining me this week. You've been watching Griffon Sports Spotlight on News Press Now.